Welcome. Do I have everything up? Okay. Welcome, y'all. Mercury hour. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Hmm. Just got a dope idea. Okay. Okay. Blissful full moon in Capricorn to you all. If you haven't done so already, the full moon in Capricorn for each sign in preparation to the Saturn Neptune conjunction of February 20th, 2026 is up. You can check that out for your sun, moon, and rising, or any of your other placements, and come up with your story based off the shift that this full moon is bringing in for you, okay? We are currently in the Mercury hour, the messenger between worlds. Mercury moves between stars and the minds, weaving divine intelligence. So, Mercury right now is in Leo. Yes. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. Which means for Leo rising, this is right now in your first house. The tune up of your throat chakra to a higher octave, which isn't about being loud, it's more so about being resonant. Leo, leading through sacred radiance, allowing your words to be spells of coherence. Especially if you're Leo rising with Mercury and Leo at this time, you're being asked to shine not for approval, but for transmutation. Lead by transmitting truth, not performance. Doing things that you enjoy with devotion, with love. Leo or not, the moon right now is at 21 degrees. So you can view this as a post full moon message, timeless as well. '21 is Sagittarius, so view this full moon as a midwife, where at this point, this exact point of 21 degrees, what could be rising up here for some of you is the weight that you carry that isn't yours. So that way you can go closer towards rebuilding from truth instead of survival. But first you have to release whatever it is you've been carrying that isn't yours. Now, it's giving the image of the Ten of Wands, Saturn and Sag, especially with 21 degrees being a third decan. There's something in regards to the legacy that you're building that is also connected to things you've been carrying, once again, that are not yours, which is possibly, well, not possibly, it would block the path towards the resources that would allow you to effortlessly build on this legacy. Okay? The sun in Cancer at 18 degrees is birthing the memory of being held. Now, if you are one who lacks that memory because of the way you were brought up and the experiences that you've had, allow that to come to the surface, okay? And being honest with yourself about whether you truly have a memory that you can connect to genuinely with unconditional love of being held and nurtured without any motives. True unconditional love, not being loved just to get a yes out of you. And know that divine guidance around you now. Because as I said that, it was 10:33 on the timer. And that's the number I connect to divine guidance surrounding you now. And it's 8:08. And we're speaking about the sun being in Cancer. So the gate to your heart, this will allow the gate, give you access to the gate, so that way you can realign with your heart chakra. Let's see what's going on here. I want to go praise due to the Most High. Okay. Yeah, I know this full moon here is a strong one. It is. Because as I told y'all in the previous live, we was about to come back on live either Friday or Saturday. But I go as the energy guides. Energy as far as being an extension of source and being aware of what the mission is, you know what I mean? So you may hear me mention certain things in the live about when we're going to do something. But if the energy comes through to go ahead and move forward with it, you'll see it posted already, perhaps, you know, in certain instances. So, yeah. Let me hold you. Let's see what's up. Before we get started, I want you to take 3 deep breaths. Inhale for 4, hold it for 7, release for 8. You're going to inhale for 4, hold it for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale last time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just shake out your arms, okay? Shake the energy out. Get it out. All right? All is well. Okay? Got this. All right. Because there's quite an illumination on what's been buried beneath the surface as far as protection mechanisms, defensiveness per se. it's going to unlock where you have to reclaim inner safety, reparenting, if so, the fractured self, and finding the power in your sensitivity. That's the sun in Cancer at 18 degrees. And what do we have here? Believe in the impossible, blue moon. Wow. So there's a lot that's been happening. So there's this energy here of you clearing out so much within you that has to do with any type of protection mechanism that's been buried on both sides, that you inherited from both sides, mother and father, because of full moon, blue moon. That means there's 2 full moons in 1 month. So in one cycle, you're clearing out quite a bit here. Okay. Meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. As far as your bloodline, you're the one that your ancestors chose for the realignment of the heart, the revitalization of that, finding the power in one's sensitivity, seeing weakness, seeing sensitivity more as a strength and not a weakness. Okay. Your level of sensitivity right now is at an all-time high. So, you know, it's important and imperative to be mindful as to what it is you're allowing into the gates of your senses. Okay? Your hearing, your sight, your smell, taste, and touch. And those 5. So that way you can gain a clear inner knowing. All right? And step out of your comfort zone. Especially Pisces rising. You do have the North Node itself that is in Pisces in your first house. Okay? And with this energy of the North Node in Pisces, it's the evolutionary direction point to mysticism, surrender, and intuitive union. Surrendering to the mysticism, surrendering to the story that flows through your emotions, the mist, the water, your emotions in flow. So that means, you know, tapping into that. And for some of you, that literally means taking the lid off of anything that, you know, taking the lid off that next level of emotion that you have protected and buried because there was a fear of going through some sort of hurt or pain again. Full moon is coming out quite a bit. Surrender to the divine. This is related to significant relationships here with the full moon in Libra. You're recognizing that nothing will come of this situation. It's been at a standstill for quite a bit, and you also got the full moon in Cancer. And then but full moon cards just showing up. What the fuck is going on here? No, seriously. Full moon in Aquarius, full moon in Gemini, full moon in Cancer, full moon in Libra, blue moon, full moon. With what do you need to release? The fact that the full moon in Gemini card is out here, the answers you are looking for are coming. I'm also getting that they're here, especially with Uranus and Gemini. The answers are presented in front of you. And that is all the information that is required for you to go on the journey of releasing. But obviously, if that verbiage is coming through right now, there's something one is still holding on to. So Let's get a look. Could have to do with, yeah, your first essence connection to a soul tribe is the family you're born into. A personal issue reaches a resolution with the full moon in Cancer being here. And all is well because it's a win-win outcome that is forecast. Things will be balanced out for all, okay? Just don't be impulsive in your actions. Aries. With Neptune and Aries, it's the rewiring of the spiritual ego. So this would be the burning through of illusion with divine will. Basically guiding you towards pure intentions as well as sacred rage. The moment of addressing some heavy hitter energies, not with, you know, not in the sense of being loud about it. Because there's only so much you can say to someone external to you in looking for clarity. Because the clarity has always resided within you. It's just a matter of going to the depths of where that clarity resides. Message 7. Okay. Somebody is anxious as fuck. Become more present in the moment. That anxiety is peaking because you're focused on what happens next instead of resolving and connecting to what is presently happening so you can see it clearly 20/20 on a time. So here's a quick tip in terms of clearing out energies of the past. Some of you are still holding on to messages, text messages, emails of what people have said or done to you. That's keeping the energy in your auric field. It's time to release that and allow source, greater power, to handle what you feel as though you can handle by holding on to some sort of information, because it's coming through as waiting for the moment to prove a point. And obviously this is not going to be for everyone, this part, but if you are someone who is holding on to a message from people of the past just to throw it in their face, that moment may not even appear. So now you're holding on to past energies that literally no longer serves you. Obviously, if you are going through some sort of legality situation, that's a different story, you know, because whatever records you got to keep, do what you got to do. But I'm speaking to the vibe of if you are going to hand over or surrender a situation to source, divine, your ancestors, your spirit guides, the warriors that protect you, for some of you, dragons that protect you, and if it's some dragons that we're talking about, you really don't have a necessity of keeping any type of message. As far as what someone may have said to make you feel smaller or less than. Okay. Yeah. Use your discernment with that. Because again, some of you, there's certain things you do have to, hold on to for some sort of legal matter that you are undergoing at this time. But if it ain't that, and you're not working your way towards that, release those messages, delete them. Even from people of the past that you are wishing and wondering, what if, in the sense of building a relationship with them and they quote unquote ghosted you. Let the messages go. Okay? And rewrite your love story. If there is something from that experience that you enjoyed that reflects you respecting yourself, rewrite your love story, but don't include that entire energy into this new story. Message and pathway. Okay. Now this is clarifying what one could be still holding on to, and you have all the information in front of you to release, to let it go, as it no longer serves you. The bottom of the deck, subconsciously, we have a marriage here. 3. Commitment is what I'm getting more so from this. Commitment. For some of you, this could be a marriage. Especially with the full moon in Libra here. But the way I place the cards onto the table, this full moon in Libra card, a win-win outcome is forecast, is coming up under the void, of course, moon, stating that nothing will come of this situation other than a win-win outcome is forecast. So nothing will come of this situation. It's time for one to take a new path, a path after the rebirth, after the change with these 5 butterflies. These butterflies are also significant that some of you may have been seeing in terms of this message being of resonance. But you're going to have to turn on your heart light. Now, this pathway card is coming up under the North Node card. Step out of your comfort zone. And what do you need to release? Now, that word need is built off of lack. That in itself is what you can release. Is anytime you receive something that you have been asking for, be mindful not to say, oh, I needed this, or I needed to hear this, because it comes across as if it never even appeared, or as if you're still lacking it and is in your presence at that current moment. Okay? To believe in the impossible, you have to know that anything you do is possible. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Show the world the real you. Some of you have messages to deliver to the collective, or to whom, to the collective. This is part of your pathway here. The collective, you're guided to uplift, to empower. Within these next 2 years, 2027 is on my time. Within these next 2 years, this is your time to put your efforts into studying what is in alignment to your purpose. Diving deeper into studying or aligning with your purpose could be you stepping out of your comfort zone, because you may be doing something at this time that is comfortable, which is connected to survival mode. You're being asked to tap into the frequency of faith, because the frequency of faith is forward motion. It's forward motion. Not rushing the process, because that type of forward motion, rushing the process, leads to anxiety. And on the opposite end, depression. You're going to have to trust in what's not logical when you're tapping into the frequency of faith to move forward. Not this marriage card coming out, though. Okay. 7353. That's 1233, but that's 333. 9. Altogether, a personal issue reaches resolution. Some of you are actually committed to, something you're doing here that it's time to surrender. Specifically for some, a marriage, or your perception of it. Your perception of it. Because the unions that you step into, 3303 on the timer, reflect the union within yourself. The masculine and feminine within yourself. The proper use of one's logic and intuition, or the balance of the duality. Duality being logic and intuition. As a trinity, discernment. Discernment, logic, intuition. To move beyond the physical, illusions of survival, to be able to connect without confusion of what it is you're passionate about, while simultaneously severing or cutting away from those things that are not in alignment to that of your passion. This landed right on top of the message card in reverse. Community. Wow. And literally show the world the real you in regards to delivering messages when it comes to a community. you not doing so is connecting you to a false sense of belonging or a community that's not in alignment to your frequency and vibration at this time, which now may have you going in circles rather than the natural essence of spiral. Yeah, false person. 8. This is what you're being asked to release. Anything that has been placed on your path that you're still holding on to, just to prove a point, or making sure you're not making decisions just to prove a point to those of the past that were, that you're realizing they don't fuck with you, and they probably don't, or not probably, they don't. But at the same time, that was just part of your journey for you to recognize what it is that you are to not connect to, because it ain't true. It's not a true reflection of you, especially if you're holding yourself accountable, that you are calling in the energies that present themselves to you. Because for some of you, 833, your presence is that of a ascended master. You're remembering that, which also comes with the power to be able to demolish anything that is not in connection to the strength of the soul, the power of the soul, which is eternal. It doesn't boast. It just is. So being the type of presence that goes into situations as just is in your presence, bringing in divine justice. You know what I mean? I'm gonna leave that there. The answers you're looking for come when you're in solitude, because the answers you need, our coming card, is by itself. There's 9 cards up here, 9 moon cards up here as we speak. You're not lacking the answers, and you may feel as though that the answers you need are on its way because they have already arrived, and because you need them, you're not seeing what has arrived. Unexpected income. 9. You didn't expect it to come in the way it did, though. The answers you were looking for, which is probably why you don't see the clarity as it's come in. 836, which is literally the full moon energy. 18 degrees, the 36th minute of the hour. 3:30. It occurred 3:36 Central, 4:36 Eastern. But it was a combination of that number in there. 836, 1836. 2 9s. So there's this idea you receive that turns into a butterfly effect, because that's what happened at the beginning of this. An idea came through. But that's also significant for the collective too, where you don't recognize that small idea is exactly what you've been looking for this entire time, and it came through so smooth and effortless, where you may feel as though you may not even recognize the magnitude of the idea until later on, because it's an idea that allows you to just, you know, flow in your essence and in connection to what your mission is, your assignment in this lifetime. And I feel that this idea only comes in when you are not so much choosing sides as far as the experiences you've had in significant relationships, especially with this full moon and Libra showing up here, the card that popped up. Not so much choosing sides as far as just one or the other, but more so of a frequency, which will put you on a vertical standpoint of different dimensions, so that way you can expand. Because if you're just looking at it from, you know, choosing sides from a third dimensional perspective of good or bad, right or wrong, awake or not awake, you go miss the, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna miss the offer. High honor. Yeah, this idea is only presented to you when you allow yourself to go into a different perception, a higher perception, which is a higher dimension. Okay? Because when you're looking at things from the 3D, it's more so physical, linear time, separation and survival, and duality. And it comes across as you are separate from others, and your reality is just things that you can touch. When you're speaking about the 4D, it becomes something that's more emotional, symbolic, transitional, dream state type of vibes, where you now connect to the version of you where reality is shaped by your thoughts, your ability to bend time, and allowing the symbols and synchronicities around you to speak. As far as 5D, this is now when you step into unity and unconditional love, soul level knowing, where all is connected and what you create is created through resonance. As far as 6D and beyond that, now we're talking about collective blueprints, non-local consciousness, where you are now both the artist and the canvas type of vibes, which also includes the unconditional love, but at a whole nother level, you know. So when we're looking at dimensions, is more so radio frequencies. So this idea that comes in unexpectedly, that gives you an opening, or it allows you to see the pathway much clearer, where stepping out of your comfort zone isn't so uncomfortable as it was before when you're in this 3D perception. To be in alignment of your true north, your north node, truly in alignment to your north node, it can be something that is uncomfortable if you're doing it from a 3D standpoint. But when you go into the 5D, which is what you're hearing, you know, amongst the spiritual community and things of such, you're now seeing where all is connected, and it's not so challenging to step outside your comfort zone. It just is. You just do it, you know, because you have faith that you'll be moving forward. So whenever you find yourself in these lower dimensional frequencies that put you in a state of fear, of walk away from those things that no longer serve you, that in itself is you perceiving through the 3D. Okay. This full moon is helping you to release that, where you're being asked to not so much point the fingers in terms of as to what led to the way certain emotions are transferred through one person to another because of what's going on externally, you know, where the level of suppression or oppression of humanity causes one within their own dynamic of their household to move in a certain way that is not uplifting and empowering. So this full moon in Capricorn is asking you, okay, take all your power back. Forget all this shit that's going on outside here. And instead, and not so much even so much forget it, utilize it as a symbol. Don't make it something that is personal, even if you want to step outside of the box with this one. Even if there are things occurring for you physically, as far as what's going on external to you, you're going to have to step outside of the box and see it as a symbol. And this will then allow you to reflect and ask yourself, okay, where is this connected to within oneself? That whatever this energy is outside of oneself is being shown to you because it's projected from the inside out. Okay. To step outside of the box in that type of scenario, that would be you going into your imagination and synchronicity to perceive through the 4D. Now, 4D is already the dimension where you connect to the God frequency because imagination is there. You can even look at that as the heart chakra. It's the fourth one, but it's also the bridge between the lowest and the highest. But the lowest and the highest have the ability to be what it is because of that center point that's operating, giving it the power that it has to do what it does. But you have to now realign to that power by stepping outside the box of whatever the situation is you're going through right now and view it as the keys or the symbols that's going to help you in your specific situation as to the way to get through it. Even more so, I dare say the how. Because as uncomfortable these situations may be, it is the response from source, the most high, as far as this is how you're going to get through it, but you would have to go through it. As you're going through it, you're going to have to change the mindset as well, to not go in there already defeated, to not go through these situations that could possibly be breaking you down defeated. Because you're going to either go around it or you're going to go through it and have to go through it again, because once you get to the other side of it, you're still defeated if you're going through with it initially as one who is defeated. Okay? This whole time. The devil card, Capricorn energy. But yeah, this is about reflecting on the life you've lived that's had you in bondage or in shame. A great place to start, as you know, mentioned in the previous live, ask yourself, when it comes to sacred energy exchange, sex, in what way were you introduced to that? Was it in a way of empowerment or fear? Because then now that will take you through your own journey of life in terms of who you connected to, first and foremost, the buddies or the homegirls you've had growing up that then connected you to a certain group of people that you may have found intriguing or influenced to find intriguing based off of the seed of the way you were taught. Some weren't taught about it until they experienced it. Because if one cannot get past the sacral, this everything else, the other five, forget about it. You know, so okay. There's that. Yeah, so that was the Ten of Pentacles conversation right there in terms of the way that dialogue occurred was more so a conversation of one-on-one, you know, where you allow yourself to reflect. You don't feel embarrassed within yourself to even reflect on your, you know, the past in order to, because it's already coming up to the surface any old fucking way, so you might as well address it for real. You know what I'm saying? Might as well address the shit. Because as one embarks on their spiritual journey and takes the path to go through these changes, you'll notice that your peace becomes the most important. Now, in that sense, that's someone connecting to the 5D. The moment you recognize, because some may ask, how do you know when you tuned into the 5D? When your peace is most important. You can even view that as the piece of you that you have been giving away from a 3D perspective because of a deep fear of not feeling desired or unable to have a secure and unconditionally loving connection. The moment your peace and wholeness becomes important to you, becomes priority, that's 5D way of living. Because you can't become a weaver, a cosmic weaver, 6D and above, if peace is not a priority for you. So in that sense, your reality is going to constantly weave what you're experiencing rather than you taking, you know, the inner authority to do that for yourself. This is your moment to change the lens that you perceive the world through. And when you do that, the world begins to reshape itself right in front of you. But are you bold enough to make peace your priority and truly make peace your priority in terms of it also comes with unconditional love? Not the peace that people feel as though you know, telling everybody to fuck off. You know, that's not 5D. Sound good, but because 5D is also equivalent to unconditional love, soul level knowing. And that's when tests come through. When you find that moment of solitude and peace and something comes around just to see where you're at, as far as the way you're either going to react or respond to it. Because if you're responding to it with unconditional love, you can see that distraction before it arrives, so much so that while it's on its way, it makes a U-turn, either physically or energetically. Because something within the vibration, as it's getting closer and closer to you, feels as though access is denied or there's no way through. Especially when we're speaking of dimensions. Someone, you know, vibing at a third dimensional frequency will never understand someone at least at a 4D. Which is why I tell y'all, as y'all evolve, because that process, you know, of life and change is forever evolving. So you're constantly going through changes. And as you do, know that no one is here to understand you but you. That's what that means, because you could be even, you know, a person moving from the fourth dimension. A person at 3D is not going to get anything you say. It's always going to be butt heads. And that could be the situation here in terms of a commitment, a marriage. Somebody could be at a third dimension perception. Another could be at a 4. The person don't have to be at 6 and above. Just 3 and 4 in itself. Those are two different spectrums. If you from New York, is basically someone listening to WBLS while the other one is listening to Power 105 or Hot 97. These are 3 different stations. There may be moments where, you know what I'm saying, y'all may be playing the same song, but that ain't every time now. And that's in general, but I'm just saying. Show me this here. $20.55. Something's being resurrected for change. But the universe is also on your side, as you have both keys of mysteries that is going to help you unlock the guidance of the universe. So this would be your 3D self and your 60 and above self working in unison for you to make a decision about something that's resurrected. 2055. For someone here, this could be an Aries or someone who's reflecting back an old identity, a past version of yourself. Because I just saw the Queen of Wands and the Three of Wands, which are both Aries cards. Sun and Aries specifically with the Three of Wands. Let's see what comes up here with message and community. Believe in the impossible by knowing that anything is possible. You can clear out so much within a short matter of time. It's only about a decision. Show the world the real you. Show the world the real you. This is more so the way the energy is coming through is show yourself. Be your first world. Show yourself the real you. You don't even have to focus on anything that's external to you, because people are going to see you. The world is going to see you the way you see yourself. The 5 of Pentacles. Mercury and Taurus. Certainly unhealthy dynamics, lack of support here. when you were honest in the situation, which showed the world the real you. Message and community in reverse. Where you're true. So some of you could have been in a situation amongst the community where your perspective and what you bring to the table per se wasn't valued all the way through. But here we have a 5. That was a lesson you had to learn to gain the keys of the Hierophant. 5. 8 of Wands. Mercury again. Yes, certainly about communication. You are a messenger. And there's something here about you trusting the wisdom of your body, the senses, and it activates a vision very quickly. And you may have suppressed that being around people who you have to prove that what you are capable of is what you're capable of. Basically, being around people who would test your abilities in a sense. Especially with the type of ability you have that is not based off of the physical, linear time, things of that nature. Some of you also have to reflect on what you've been carrying in terms of where you were being honest with people in terms of giving them that unconditional love and it wasn't reciprocated. Fine, it wasn't reciprocated, but allow yourself to move on from that because they obviously don't see your value. They obviously don't see your worth. So don't continue to do things to get them to see you because you're only wasting time and energy in doing that. Okay. Right side of my head is tingling. Just trust your intuition. Especially this is a confirmation. Just trust your intuition. You felt it already. 62, 22. That's 8, 22. You're connected to infinite possibilities and you've been shrinking yourself. Helping others that are nowhere, they're not even 3D for real. It's a whole nother topic. They're just an entity flowing around. But that also shows the depths of your power. That if the lessons you are experiencing got to do with these low frequency ass motherfuckers, it also shows the capability of how high you can go. But you yourself have to become aware in terms of just as challenging as it is, duality-wise, just as rewarding it is too. Once you've learned a lesson though. Yeah, waiting around to see if there's going to be a shift in potential. For the one waiting for a message from somebody within a community or someone you've met, stop. That message is not coming in. And if it does, this is just a warning to you that it's the final piece before a new beginning. So it's not going to be for the long haul. There's no longevity in this. waiting for something or someone to change. And each time you keep receiving bullshit and nonsense. And this could even be communities that you are connecting to, networks, you know, if you're listening to certain lives or whatever the case may be, that are not in alignment to your frequency. It's going to cause you to run towards a dead end when you're destined for way more. So this image in itself is basically someone who is moving in hope, not faith, because faith is about moving forward. This shit is moving backwards. Seeing that you got the world in your hands, but going towards those things that are not beneficial to you. It continuously shows a lack of reciprocity. You know, it doesn't bring the warmth of the fire element, which is a reflection of this doesn't connect to your passion. It might be something that your ego used to thrive off of. But in this stage now, as you are moving forward, it's time to set boundaries. Stand your ground. Seven. And this is a seven in itself. Especially if you're in some type of setting when you show the real you, people get offended. That ain't your tribe. That is not your tribe. And when you're doing so, it comes across as you may be standing your ground or going against, when that is just you just being you. Mars and Aries, Two of Wands, you have this natural warrior spirit. You know who you are. And obviously, people who are struggling with that with no intent to resolve it easily become jealous and envious of someone who knows themselves. You now, as the person, have to recognize that this is not the battle for you. When it comes to choosing your battles wisely, this ain't your battle. Placing yourself in situations where people just get offended, or you can just feel where their energy is just off, where they're out of touch with themselves. Six of Wands. Yeah, there's a way that you express yourself with the Six and the Two of Wands here, Eight of Wands, that really has people, a group of people feel offended, but you just being your true self. Choose the pathway. We're going to go to that now, as this is an 8 card. Choose the pathway that aligns with what brings you joy, what makes you laugh, okay? As a result of integrating the lessons you've learned. Because you're going to be well known for it. And that's not even your intent either. That's not something you have to focus on doing. It's just because you're moving in flow, in essence of your authentic self. People love you for just being you. It's not something you have to force. Or remind people to do so. You know, you don't have to get them to say certain things that reflect the love that they have for you. It's just you are who you are. By being you, the love comes as a result. because you already are in that loving energy. You know, Queen of Wands, Aries, but this Queen of Wands it speaks to the energy of someone who is aware of their life purpose. They have the type of persona that people enjoy being around, you know, and are truthful to themselves. Also someone who has an ability to see within all dimensions. So with that being said, some of you may have entered situations amongst communities where before even arriving, you can sense this ain't the place for you. But you go anyway, because part of your mission, as mentioned before, is to bring balance and justice just through your presence. Your presence alone, once it lands, you know, on that ley line or in that trajectory or quadrant, whatever the case may be, it shifts the energy, because it's basically you as a walking portal into these environments, just so the situation can get balanced out, just so the energies can get balanced out. Because there may be others within that environment that are not aware that your presence alone, just showing up, even if it's just for a short amount of time, it creates a shift where now the proper awakening occurs for those who may have not been able to connect to the actual frequency of what it is that they are seeking, so that way they can go through closing out cycles and evolving and living their greatest life. Pathway. The Page of Swords. That's a 2-year card. We just talked about 2027 not too long ago. Yeah, there's certainly something here you're preparing for now into 2027. But for some of you, there's a significant relationship that it's time for you to get out of in order for you to receive this level of abundance of the privileged lady. Message of concern. Message of concern, toil and labor. And we do have this imprisonment and not hiring card. So some of you here, what's going to trigger coming out of this relationship could be the change of a job, where now it creates an unsteady foundation. And this is where people get to see who it is that they're with in regards to their response when you're down and out. Or this may have already happened. And if someone has already showed you who they are, you've released them with forgiveness and they reappear. Or you may get this energy within you where you having the thoughts of, you know, the past experiences, the great experiences. It's not an inclination of reconciliation now. Especially if that's coming up to the surface. 911. So this is seriously a warning of, let these past situations go. Because where you're going next, you don't want to block out, you know, your dharma, your reward. That the journey you've taken to clear yourself out of these situations, the journey you've taken, you're now ready to receive these type of rewards. So specifically, within these past 2 years, That's what some of you here have to release. Yeah. So, Nine of Cups is Jupiter and Pisces, and Pisces mantra is also connected to I believe. The first card out was believe in the impossible. Here's what I'm saying. Because some of you are really in a situation that you are stuck in. Because you really don't know what love is. Or you really don't know what you want to do. And that's only occurring because of where you are protecting yourself to not be vulnerable. And you have this misconception of vulnerability being committed to a situation that no longer serves you because of a past hurt that you have yet to release. Now that's understandable from the perspective of what understanding is. It's understandable because it is the reality that you are living because of where you are at within the chakras of understanding. Your root, sacral, and your solar plexus. Fear, guilt, and shame. Which now causes you to process the thinking pattern or pattern in general to connect to something that is not for you, that constantly keeps you feeling left in the cold, fucking with your health as well. And that is something you can do without. Let's see. Queen of Wands shows up. It's time to pull the plug on this identity of yourself that you're still holding on to, or people who are still moving with you based on the old identity of yourself. Because that happens a lot with people in terms of you go through these dimensional perception shifts from 3, 40, 5D, 60, and still being around those who connect to the 3D language while you're operating from 5D and above. That's not going to be beneficial to you in any kind of way. And for some of you, you're still giving people the benefit of the doubt. You want to ask yourself, what benefit is there in doubting? Not one. I mean, if one wants to list a benefit of doubting, it would be something of a low frequency. Bad health. constantly going through emotional turbulence because of a decision one decides to make in regards to keeping something around that doesn't speak the same language, in regards to frequencies. Because if a person or a situation or an environment doesn't bring peace into your life, then obviously it's shifting you down to a lower frequency, a third dimension. Because these are not places, these are perceptions. Let's get that on out the way. Dimensions are perceptions. It is, if we're gonna say if it's a place you go to, yeah, it's a place you go to within yourself. That it is, yeah. But some of you around situations, 3D situations that going within who? Reflecting. If they going within something, it's something external. And now all one is doing is picking up on their lower frequencies. Their demons, lower frequencies, lower emotions. There go the Ten of Wands we was picking up earlier. Don't have to keep carrying this burden you've been carrying because of where it started from, where it stems from. Again, you can start there. When it comes to sacred energy exchange, sex, in what way was that introduced to you? Was it from an empowering perspective or a shameful and guilty perspective that if you do this, da 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 da? Now, anybody that's shifting from religion to metaphysics, esoteric, spiritual frequencies, you come from that, where it's taught to you in the form of shame or guilt. A lot of situations start from there, you know. Saturn in Taurus. Lessons, obstacles, challenges when it comes to your self-worth. Seven of Pentacles. What it's time to release is the lessons you've learned. Not continuously going back into the same experiences, expecting a different result. You know, with the Seven of Cups, 7-7. You've been seeing a lot of sevens here. Venus in Scorpio and Saturn in Taurus. Wow, polar reflection. Saturn in ooh. Your relationships really had to do with the lessons of your inner authority. Some of you have this this energy is of someone who feels loved when someone is controlling them, unable to really make the distinction that that's not okay. Which now this person gives their partners the authority to express themselves in a certain way and they see it as love. You can even, This would even be an example of the ideology that, you know, society has had in terms of, oh, you don't know if a person really loves you until y'all go through some shit. Listen. Can miss me with that shit. Can miss me all the way with that one. Because the person's supposed to hurt you so you can know that they love. That shit don't make no fucking sense, and we not about to sit here and make it make sense. That's not what we gonna do. We have done that before, yeah, but really? Then that really ain't love to begin with. So before you step into an actual connection of love, unconditional love, you're in a high level connection of like. Again, we taking this to a higher perspective now. The truth of what unconditional love is, all that shit that you see on TV and drama, that ain't the, that's the path, that may be the path towards, you know, the true union that you encounter. Because that's another thing too. People come from backgrounds where growing up, they see that type of dynamic amongst a couple. The level of disrespect and the way one would speak to another, and it becomes a program within oneself that is okay when it's not. You know? This is also why when you're on a spiritual journey, it becomes one of solitude, because you really become clearer as to what being in that 5D essence is. It's unity, it's unconditional love, it's soul level knowing, not moving from the ego. So yes, an ego death does happen. A transformation of the ego. A transformation of the ego is the experiences that you've gone through. You apply them in regards to what no longer serves you. You let it. You send it back to source, and let it do what it got to do on that end, and you move on. Hold on. Is it this one? Yes. camera on in a minute there. Not even. Hold your horses. Okay. Dragging eating my blanket. Okay. All right. Gratitude for your patience. I want some coffee real quick, just a little bit. So yeah. This is getting to fix my life. What the fuck? Yo. Shit. Okay. So. Because these are both Saturn cards, as the Page of Swords also connects to the dates that connect to the Eight of Cups, walking away from things that no longer serve you, Saturn and Pisces. Saturn and Taurus, Saturn and Pisces. Saturn and Taurus is next. For some of you, if you have Saturn and Taurus, this message could be preparing you for your next Saturn return. Saturn and Pisces, this message is preparing you for September to February, or now, once it goes retrograde, either energetically or physically. Something reappears that reflects the identity you have grown from. Now, I'm going to just tell you right now, some of you really do have an Aries. Someone between Aries and Taurus born in April that is watching you. Or this new beginning has something to do with the month of April and a new path that reflects your transformation and stepping into a higher level of commitment. And first and foremost, that begins with you. For some of you, okay, because it's April and that's in between. That's the last decan, first decan. 420 energy is what you're being guided to release. Allow yourself to tap into that same energetic vibration without an external substance. And if you're unable to, that is your point of where you can begin to unravel as to why that is necessary for you to tune in and tap in, because some of you ain't even chiefing to tap in. You just fucking out here chiefing and shit. Okay? Let's keep that shit 100. Now, I'm gonna move you over here, baby. So, because some of you have a coping mechanism for your celibacy. Which then leads you into not actually practicing celibacy. And if the only thing you and someone has in common, or when y'all can get around each other, is to smoke with each other, obviously, the fuck, that's a no. Even if you're not physically having a sacred energy exchange with this person, the exchange of the L back and forth is the same type of energy, because the herb is the portal of entering one's body, which is also why you gotta be mindful as to who you in a safe with. Feel me? Some of you gonna have to leave something behind that you've been building with. You put a lot of energy into this. And it looks good, but it ain't great. What's great and divine is the understanding you have of you. See this? The understanding you have of you, the truth. Throat chakra energy, the orange with the sacral. Because with this energy showing up here, your creativity is also connected to your sexuality. So you're gonna have to heal that. So that way it gives you the strength to walk away from these situations, even if people feel as though you're being stubborn. Especially if you're someone with the midheaven in Taurus. When it comes to what you do career-wise, your legacy is based off of value. Okay? And that ain't the case. You know, what it is that you're surrounded by, it's not a value. This is going to be the portal, the surrounding energy that's going to have you feeling a little uncomfortable in regards to what is time Saturn to release when it comes to Taurus, what's flowing through the wisdom of your body. And wisdom only comes after you've learned a lesson of a challenge. That is the reward of overcoming the lesson, going through the lesson, is the wisdom you gain. Now it's time to apply that, which means you're going to have to leave everything behind, even if it was balanced. But if it's not bringing value to you, there's a lot of things that could be balanced, you know, but it's not in alignment to you. Because you could be, okay, you could be someone that's operating from the 4D and up, and you had, you know, something great going, something good going on with someone that vibrates from that 3D energy, and because they're not evolving or taking it to a higher level, this is where you gotta part ways. Literally. Part ways. Yeah. Because a person could be balanced at 3D, at an apprentice level, basically. Because some people do come here to, you know, fulfill a soul contract of being religious. This basically allow people to be who they gonna be, the same way you allow people to be who they gonna be. And you could be realizing where that's what's not being reciprocated, where, you know, you allow people to be where they are to the point that you can even communicate with them on their level. But when it's time to have a conversation with you, they get defensive instead of asking questions and just learning some shit. You know what I'm saying? People get offended real quick, especially if they, people can't stand when you can't do it, and they can't teach you something. They feel some type of way. They may not say it verbatim, But when you operating from that 4D and above, let's take this matter to 60. When you in that 60 energy as a cosmic weaver, you can sense the energy. 9955 on that. You can sense the energy. They don't even have to say it. But in sensing it, it unlocks the truth as to where that person is energetically towards you. And you, as a 60 operating being, they may not say something that reflects them exposing themselves. You're just so aware and tuned in and tapped into unconditional love that you can notice where that is non-existent. Okay? So, as we're weaving the next message, the deck is in reverse. No coincidences there. Which places the Judgment card in reverse. And the Page of Cups comes out of reverse. Now, this is clarifying marriage, personal issue reaches resolution, and surrender. I mean, you don't take a rocket science to figure this one out. There's obviously a lack of surrender for this personal issue to reach a resolution. That can easily be solved. It's an issue. It's easy resolution. But someone is complicating a resolution by not reading the signs of the way someone may not be communicating or the way one is communicating. Back to the 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D. Not noticing the difference in communication is preventing effortless surrender. Because one is choosing to have this perception that it's fine because number 20, the card right before it, if we're looking at it in terms of the direction that the card is going, it's going towards the sun. So someone is hoping for happiness and joy, which is why they're still staying in something. This doesn't have to be a relationship. This could even be a job, a move you're deciding to make, or have yet to decide to make. Let's see what's at the top here. What's at the crown of your mind. You don't feel you can manifest this. You don't know the ability you have to manifest when your ability to manifest has been shown to you day in and day out with what it is that you don't desire. Because that's what's at the forefront of your mind. At the heart of the matter. So this is a relationship. Saying yes to situations you want to say no to. or that you know you should be saying no to, but you're seeking gratification outside of yourself. I get it. But it's time to stop that shit though. Because it ain't getting you anywhere. Because don't let it get to a point, for some of you that's already happening, where it's fucking up your pockets. Now here's the thing. You got this unexpected income. This shit could be anything now. It could be something you desire or you don't. But we'll get there. Because just know that that's coming up under nothing will come of this situation, although a win-win outcome is forecast. It's in the forecast. A win-win outcome is fated. But fate depends on the destiny you take, or the destinations or the paths you take. We just already talked about this pathway here, letting you know about what it's time to release. You may be uncomfortable, but recognize where you are at in terms of where there can be an effortless and harmonious flow of communication. Let's see what we got going on. Let's turn this up right. So I'm being guided to go to another deck. At the bottom, not the fucking reconciliation card. And the 3 with the page, that's a 2 of cups, Venus in Cancer. That's a vibe of someone who stays in something even after someone disrespects them, or because they said something sweet. That's all it takes to wheel them back in. But stop that shit. Not in this type of energy. Why is that even happening? What's the root of this? Get to the root, to the root. What's the root of this? 945, 99, September 9th, 9 years of age, 2009. Started from 9. What's the root of this? Beloved mermaids, ready, set, go, being rushed into something. Peer pressure. Now is the perfect time to dive in and embrace your heart's desires. Peer pressure. Into a connection. The first connection was due to peer pressure. Some of you, that's where you start. And you reflect as to why, you allow yourself to be in situations that you are in now. Some of you may still be connected to these people you've known for years since you were young. And that would be an example of a group or a community that when you're talking to one another, it's 3D, but you're someone on a spiritual journey tapping into 5D and above. They may get to the 4D type of scenario, but not so much so. They may do it just to get you around. So that would be an example of where you have connections of people still around you that are not a vibrational match to, the journey ahead. Helpful person. someone that was supposed to, or you felt as though that was supposed to take care of you, be there for you, and they weren't there. All of these type of scenarios is what this full moon in Capricorn is bringing up. Not to blame people, not to blame the situations outside of you. But again, look at it as the keys that was designed. It was just 11011, designed to bring you to a 0 point to be able to balance out both sides, logic and intuition. You know what I'm saying? The root of it was someone who wanted to help you, or you wanted them to help you, but contact was never made. Or this is the type of situations where somebody, that's where you have a father issue, in regards to, or they were never around. But what you want to ask yourself is, what actually influenced 11111, your father or mother, to move that way? Have you ever actually had a conversation and really sat them down, as basically you placing yourself in the position as the parent and speaking to them? In some cases, you may have the type of parents that may not even want to listen to what the fuck you got to say. But that doesn't mean you stop being the change of the bloodline. Because that's where some of you get stuck, and where you may lack the peace and wholeness that comes with the 5D. Remember what we was talking about before, where just your presence alone and the shifts you're making is going to bring forth the result you feel as though would come about if you're having a conversation, or if you're wanting to show someone, or you desire, you're wanting to show someone what would be best. But the wanting to is also an example of where you could be pushing something onto them that they're not prepared for, that can actually be detrimental to them. But again, that doesn't mean you stop the process of your journey. So welcome, EVE Mama. Welcome, honey. Blessings and gratitude. I share. Let's see. What else? Where to start? Tranquility. Now, some of you are either the eldest or the youngest, or you come from a family of being around multiple people, and you've never had this space to be still or in a tranquil space. So that automatically triggers where when it's time for you to be in solitude and in the space of tranquility, to make time to relax, it's a challenge for you, because you're programmed from the version of you when you were younger, when you were in a household full of people and you are unable, to make time to relax, be still, or enjoy your solitude. So if that's you, that's where you can start your journey of unraveling, where you're suppressing yourself from fully evolving, being vulnerable, because you're protecting yourself. Because there may have been some sort of back and forth that occurred when all you wanted was your peace, because with that comes where you recognize the way people are with you, but they can only be with you as far as they are with themselves. Because you won't have to make someone understand who is aware of what solitude and tranquility is, to understand when you are desiring to have that moment. I'm getting the initials TR and SG. As far as where this even started, where you're unable to connect to the simplicity of life. Dang, car lights right now. Set your sights higher. This could also have something to do with Christmas. Specifically, something started Christmas when you were younger. Because the way this is showing up is someone putting a star on a tree. Okay, 98, 98, 93, 95, 98 is significant. Yeah. 93, 95, 98, and 99. You really didn't feel valued as a child. You felt unseen. Okay, here's the thing. If you grew up and for the most divine reason, you learned to protect yourself because no one else was around to protect you, first and foremost, just know that this is also why you're here on this channel. You one of them ones. That was your first training grounds of, can they withstand the purpose that's at hand to revitalize their bloodline? Because that was your first connection of connecting with your ancestors and your spirit guides, even if it wasn't something that, you know what I'm saying, that you were fully tuned into as to, oh, that's what it is. I'm connected to my ancestors and my spirit guides. And that was the case, but again, you were growing and developing courage to be there for yourself, at least. So this would appear as you would go through situations that you don't tell anyone about. They have no fucking idea that you may have gone through this and that and this and that, and you made it out on your own. You know? That's the journey of a warrior who is also connecting to the essence of a dragon. And I'm going to add that as well. The warrior who becomes the essence of a dragon. It's a different world out there. You become the primordial essence, the training of primordial essence. In the sense that when you look at these dragons, one eye of a dragon from that ethereal cosmic space holds many galaxies. We're not even talking about the other eye, the body, just one eye. But look at that as your north node and south node. One who is able to connect to their purpose while also being wise to not repeat the cycle of the past, but also recognizing that the journey is the most important part. You hear that often. It's not about where you're going, it's the journey. But there's so many ways from the macro to the micro of seeing that expressed, you know? Okay. So now that we're there, and I'm going to go and clarify this with a different tarot deck here, okay? Ooh, did I feel the energy of the collective? Some of y'all was all over the place, emotionally scattered, feeling a whole bunch of shit. I said, what the fuck is this? I said, oh, we gotta go live today. We really do. And then the energy began to subside. So, okay. I got you, baby. I got you. 120. Yeah, 5 of Swords. Feeling slightly conflicted and defeated. Not the Judgment card. Clarify. This was at the bottom. So everything we said, this is just the confirmation that it came out upright. In order to liberate yourself, you're gonna have to make a decision here. Because the Page of Cups is a message that comes in from a gentle person. It's a message that comes in from a gentle person. But in reverse, it's more so of a trickster type of energy. Noah, my son, the projector, said, Mom, I can't feel your energy. Aww. Get lindo. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. So this is a great portal with this full moon in Capricorn to see where you are at emotionally. If you're someone with children, ask them what love is. Ask them what love is, because they're going to tell you what love is based off of what they see you experience. And that can help you too, you know, in terms of where you got to get to work, honey. You know, 122, 21, yeah. They're going to reflect back something to you that's been sitting in your psyche, even more so where you may have been rejecting your intuition. Okay? Y'all all right. Y'all all right. There's nothing to worry about. Just make sure, you know, you're doing what you have to do to release, to let go. 18 degrees. To let go of anything that's preventing you from connecting to your legacy. Even, you know, that comes with partnering up in certain situations. And as far as 3 of Pentacles to the 4 of Pentacles, if you're still holding on to some sort of past relationship, is going to prevent you from seeing opportunities of collaboration. You know, 1001 on the time. So it's time to drop the weight of what you've been carrying that isn't yours. And again, if you have children, ask them what is love, and they're going to answer it and let you know. They're going to let you know of something that is going to basically turn the light on whatever it is that you're carrying that isn't yours. They may not say it verbatimly, but it'll click for you in terms of, wait a minute. Just know that whatever they're saying has to do with the way they see it with you. Now, an example, let's say they say love is something material. they'll be expressing where they've only seen you happy with certain things around you. That should influence you to reflect on, okay, what is love for oneself without certain things? And the way that would play out, it would connect you to where you may be in lack in terms of the way you are connected to faith and manifesting things into your life effortlessly, and where you are at with unconditional love. Because if they mention something material, then it's showing that love is conditional. Don't be hard on yourself with what they say, but at the same time, not but at the same time, don't be hard on yourself with what they say. Just reflect. Okay? And then with Venus and Gemini, it's really about you finding the resonance in the opposite or things that are of contrast. So this is what I'm saying. This full moon in Capricorn is for the big dogs. And everybody is present. Let me see. Talk to me, source. What you got? Let me make sure this up. The Judgment. Allowing yourself to be guided out of murky waters into stable waters by walking away from those things that no longer serve you and releasing self-sabotaging thoughts that have you trapped in fear. Okay? But let's see. And for the members, if you are wanting a message after this, I'll be more than glad to assist, okay? Look at this shit here. Ooh-wee. You have to make a decision, a judgment call on where you are possibly deceiving yourself. And for some of you, there's a community that is reflecting this back to you. There's a community that's reflecting this back to you. Empress. This is manifestation energy right here. Being able to create. Okay. So, if you are in a relationship where your partner is not supportive, you better drop that situation out of your life immediately. I ain't telling you what to do, per se. Just delivering the message, because you got the Empress here, the Judgment with the Seven of Swords. This is someone believing in what their partner feels and believes rather than believing in themselves. Especially with your first card being believing the impossible. And the actual card of partnership, full moon in Libra, is showing up under nothing will come of this situation. Which means you are ready to evolve, but you're in a committed relationship where you're committed to something that's going to keep you stagnant. And you're fruitful and abundant at this time. At least your subconscious mind is, with this showing up at the bottom of the deck. At the top forefront of your mind is the what the fuck, wondering if the universe is on your side. It's been on your side. It's actually on some. What the fuck is you waiting for? With the Justice card. Okay. Wow. Well, there's that. The portal is a storm event that happens. It's 10:06 now. This is 10:11. This is the actual number of a portal. 10:11. 1011. Portal open. Of bringing balance into this. This portal that opens is an activation of the heart. Just is Ma'at that sits here. You may want to look into the laws of Ma'at and see where you are at. Can you say yes to everything that's on the laws of Ma'at? and reflect that towards situations or communities that you're entering? Does it reflect the laws of Ma'at? Does it reflect having a heart as light as a feather? Because if one doesn't have a heart, they're judged on their experience. Either way, it's placed on the scale with the feather to see if it's just as light or lighter. Let me see what's under that. The Six of Swords. This is Mercury in Aquarius, by the way. So which is even more so as to why deception of oneself kicks in, because you can see a future timeline. You have the perception, you receive messages about a future timeline that you're able to weave into your reality. But that doesn't happen when you go from the 6D, which is the weaver, 6D and above, you become a cosmic weaver. At 5D, you won't be able to weave cosmically. You'll be tuned in and tapped into unconditional love. But as far as weaving or becoming the alchemist or multi-dimensional transmuter, you're going to have to go 6D and beyond. You're going to have to trust your clear inner knowing. That's where Metatron comes in. Now, because with Metatron, messages also come through music. So allow yourself to experience this experiment where you put your playlist, a playlist you have on shuffle, and see what songs are coming through. Or even if you know, on social media scrolling, be aware of what songs are coming through as you are scrolling on through. Mars energy, because it's something about it reflecting back with Mars in Virgo. With Mars isn't Virgo right now, which is the sacred surgeon, cutting away what clutters your energetic field. So when you're scrolling and you're hearing certain songs, it's letting you know where you are at energetically and what type of clutters you have in your energetic field based off the lyrics. Fucking devil. Of course this would come out. Okay. Saturn at 155. That's the Ace of Swords. Okay. You're being shown what's been controlling you. The music is going to show you what's been controlling you. The lyrics. And for some of you, as far as the music, it's not so much the song, but where it takes you. 10, 11 right now. Where it takes you. What memory does it pull up? Or let's say you've been vibing to a certain era of music. What memories is it triggering? Because when I tell you, even if one is not in alignment with their higher self, it doesn't mean that it's not in motion. 134 on the timer. It doesn't mean that it's not in motion. It's always in motion. emotions. Anything that sits still for too long dies. And one thing about one's higher self and the soul is eternal. There is no death for it. So it doesn't sit still. It's always in constant motion. When you align with it, ooh, that's when, what they say, tap in. Yeah. And anything that is being called for it to be tapped out of your life, that happens with it too. Ten of Cups. Subconscious, that's that. It's literally guiding you. That's the idea. That's the idea. The subtle idea that what is going on in your reality is showing you what is time to cut away from energetically. And if it's something that is not of clutter, it's in alignment, it's sacred, it's going to become more intense. So you have both sides of the spectrum moving relentlessly right now. You know? Just put it this way, the portal that has to do with your birthright, which is to live life, is wide open. To live and experience life, a soul, spirit having a human or physical experience. But you must remember the former. What it means to be eternal. Now that can make someone's body feel a little uncomfortable because now we're going into the space of immortality or non-duality or questioning then shit, what is death for real? Depending on where you at in your journey. There's a massive collective shift of consciousness just beginning. A recalibration of the mental grid, the cracking of thought forms, lightning strike of multi-dimensional awareness. There's a lot of shit that's gonna be firing off. You basically building new synapses of the brain. So a personal issue reaches a resolution as far as a soul contract when one surrenders to the divine. Wow. Surrender the betrayal that has to do with people being in and out of your life. Some of you, there's some sort of thought of betrayal you have due to a move you had to make when you were younger, or the way it affected you, or the way you responded to it. The response one has to a move or a change of residence. Now, okay. You could be someone who grew up with the military family background, constantly moving around, which physically, cause you to not feel rooted and grounded, always having to switch schools, meet different people. And if a conversation wasn't had because you may have not wanted to burden someone with what it was that you were thinking and processing about these changes, you kept it within yourself. And it became a part of your identity, where you may have now connected to people through the frequency of codependency. Okay. Yeah, Three of Cups shows up here at the bottom of the deck with the Two of Swords wanting to peep through, Moon in Libra. Mental conflict, rejoicing, celebration. Mental conflict when it comes to what it is, what it means to rejoice in celebration. So this is coming through as forcing it, which is what I was speaking to with the Judgment card that showed up at the bottom of the deck with the Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. When the Page of Cups came out of reverse, the Judgment card was at the bottom of the deck in reverse, which is pointing towards the card before, which is the Sun card, which would be forcing some level of joy and happiness. That is not the truth of it. Ignoring all the signs of the emotional turbulence that one has experienced through, you know, going through those cycles, because before the Sun is the Moon card. Just giving you the journey there. Let's go over to this. Let's see what this is talking about. Unexpected income. A win-win outcome is forecast. Nothing will come of this situation. Unexpected income. What's this unexpected income? Nothing will come of this situation. A win-win outcome is forecast. Because I already feel through this message, before we go into that, let's get a surrender card. We have the Page of Pentacles. Unexpected message coming in for sure. From someone new, a new opportunity from a new community, or someone from your past that's going to trigger the past version of you. For you to recognize how far you've come. So you're not going backwards. Let's get a surrender message. What is the message of surrender? We have surrender to your intuition currently. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. And surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying, which is an insult to doing, to force the river. Why am I smelling chicken soup? More so broth, chicken broth. It's the type that you give someone if they have a hangover type of energy or not feeling too well. That's what I'm sensing. So, nourishment. A personal issue reaches resolution by starting off small, being mindful of what it is that you're consuming, what you're digesting, nutrition-wise. Yeah, emotional eating. Surrender to receiving support and love. Allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. That's coming through as this unexpected income. This is why it's important to heal from past relationships where you were taken advantage of or mishandled. Because your future doesn't involve that. What's coming next, what's coming towards a healed version of you is not the past. But if you don't heal, all you'll be doing is projecting what is within, without, and you'll only be calling in that which deceives you. 144:14. Surrender. One more. Surrender one more time and do it fully. Wow. And it has to do with the habit you have of people pleasing. This is that codependency energy where you do things for people to love you, to see you. 144:44. And for these type of energies, you're speaking on what you need instead of being true to yourself. Telling them what you need over and over and over again, and the shit ain't changing. This could also be what you're doing with yourself, where you're saying you need this, you need that. Or when you receive what it is you've been asking for, you say, I needed that. That's the same energy too, in terms of where you are getting someone to understand you. That's the, when I say it's the same energy, that's the same type of frequency and vibration that comes through, that when you receive what it is that you've been asking for and you say, I needed this. This is not the expression of 3D. The 3D expression, that makes sense. To say when you receive something you've been needing, once you get it, you needed it. That makes sense from a three-dimensional, third-dimensional perspective. Perfect sense. But not from 5D and above. 4D, you start to experience the consequences real quick of what you're saying, but you may not realize it. Because the way that pans out is something. This is the best example I could give for right now. Let's say you needed 1,000. You received 1,000, you say, I needed 1,000. That shit don't last you more than 24 hours. Or there is no turn of investment with it. Let's say you've been asking for 1,000. You received 1,000. You express gratitude. That shit goes from 1,000 to, let's say, 100,000. Because now you place yourself in the energy to expand it, to circulate it, to multiply it. Not to burn it out to the extent of the energy now as you're expressing it is more so, think of it this way. Because that's another thing too. People feel as though a person loves them because they need them. The expressions of, I need you, I miss you. When I'm to the 3D, this shit makes sense. But 6D and beyond, you become more mindful of what it is you say. You need it, you miss it, the universe is going to give you a reason to need and miss it. So I said, being over here, you better what you asked for, what you done stepped into. But y'all all right. All is well, my love. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. Even with children too. Because they may not know what to express specifically when it comes to the way they feel they have to protect you, because they're sensing that you are not feeling protected, rooted, and grounded. You know? So in moments where you're seeking tranquility and solitude, you may not be able to do so. Because again, they may not know the way to, communicate or be around you, especially in the essence, once again, where they feel as though you're not rooted and grounded. So this is where the importance of having that conversation. If you have children, asking them, what is love? What is love? What do they feel love is? What are their thoughts on it? Okay, so let's see. And the reason, and you know what too, because if you, okay, let's say you grew up around people that were of a more mature age, around 5, 6, 7 years old, and there were certain things that they would tell you, oh, you're too young, but you knew within you from shit that you're watching on TV, you can have that type of conversation. This is what I'm getting at. They know. Surrender your fear of change. In order for a personal issue to reach a resolution, surrender your fear of change. The universe is constantly reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. I have, which is an expression of truth, which is the mantra of Taurus, which connects to the throat chakra. Faith, which is connecting to your desires, feeling and living as though it is part of your physical experience, that all is well. What does that even mean? Because the sensation that happens before my ears about to ring just happened, but it didn't. $10.29. Hold on. Because there's something else. And I'm in it. Okay. So what is it? This is also why it's important to be mindful when you say need. Okay, this bringing back to the point from before. Okay. Put it this way. Need carries the same energy and frequency, gratitude, of when you are done and over with a situation or a person and they come to you with the I need you. You know that feeling you get of feeling disgusted because you're through with it? That's the way need translates in anything you say. You just don't recognize it because it sounds good in other instances. But frequency is frequency. Vibration is vibration. Dimension is a dimension. Gratitude for bringing that back through. I love that. That was... Thank you. Gratitude. Because it was so subtle, the way the hum came through, but the beep didn't happen. But it just channeled into the frequency. So that happened that way because that's what they want you to be aware of. In terms of when to tune in and not move so fast. Some of you have to, get into practice of tranquility and solitude so you can experience these moments that are so subtle and simple but powerful. Wow. We have surrender to divine timing. Surrender to the divine. To surrender to divine timing. As divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough, according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. If there's some sort of deep, intense, emotional connection that does not reflect your value, you're going to have an issue with this. Because trust is connected to Scorpio. And for you to see things clearly, to be patient through this process of alchemy, Sagittarius, patience. In order for you to see things clearly or have a clear inner knowing, connect to the truth that all is well, faith, you're going to have to surrender to divine timing. Okay? What's going on? Heart chakra. Surrender resentments. There's that. 1033. Okay. Divine guidance around you now. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Speaking of Scorpio and that sting, you're going to keep stinging your nails. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Forgive others. Some of you are trying to forgive others, and that's the problem too. Just forgive. When you try, you insult what you're doing to the point you're not even doing it. Even if you are doing it, you're not doing it if you're trying to do it. Just do it or you don't. Forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. Quickly. Car moving on fast. Unexpected income. Now, is this? It's over here. I want you to get a look at this. This version of you is hoping. This version of you is hoping. This version of you is faith. Faith is giving the old version of you in connection to hope. A golden coin, unexpected income, having to do with what is time to end, especially when it comes to what you know, as far as any type of disruption you have within the sacral, with the 2 and the 7. First and foremost, knowing that you're loved. Let's see. Are we upright? Yes, we are. Golden coin. Golden coin. Asking you shall receive. This is your hand also receiving. But receiving due to you trusting this new cycle, trusting the process of your rebirth, the 0. To do so, you see that mountain peak in the back. This means you have to go into a higher dimension, higher perception. So that way, whatever this is that is incoming, that you are possibly not even expecting, is connected to blossoming in joyful abundance, not an abundance of additional lack. So I'm getting this energy of an 8 here, where this version of you is on autopilot in order to receive this. which is why this, whatever this is that comes in, is unexpected. But it's a win-win outcome for all. Each side is okay. Each side is receiving with this win-win outcome is forecast. Now, this is the test of this full moon in Capricorn. A win-win outcome is forecast, and the way you feel about that when it comes to those who have deceived you, in the sense of you are not wanting them to win. You don't desire for them to win. I get it. But just step away from that by not making it your business as to what occurs. Because you don't know if this win here is a transformation that they're not ready to see. But to you, it appears as though they're winning. They may not, what you see is them winning, to them may not be them winning, is what I'm getting at. Until they go through the process of evolution themselves. However, a win-win outcome is forecast for all involved. Because the cycle is up. Moving forward in this cycle, nothing's going to come from this situation. Checkpoint. Now, what is this? Show me unexpected income. Show me unexpected income. Show me unexpected income. Remember what we did with the other hand and your hand? I'm hearing everybody dies, but not everybody lives. This part of your journey is so significant that it's going to be connected to, I wish that I could have this moment for life. The moment is where you recognize what the fuck is actually happening in this here game called life. It's a split second too. It's a quick portal. Of making a decision to integrate the lessons you've learned on the journey of your legacy, Jupiter and Capricorn. Reclaiming your inner authority. So there's an opportunity in your environment, an unexpected income opportunity, where you're going to have to make a decision. With work, that's 10 of Pentacles showing up there with the 8 and the 2. This is coming through as a false sense of independence here with the 9 of Pentacles, with this Pentacle, with this 8. Wait a minute. Nope. Yeah, you see a craft that you have as a false sense of independence because of a certain burden you're still carrying that is not yours, that is connected to survival mode. And you're putting on a high pedestal, you know, things that are comfortable, that gives you a sense of being stable. So you can see this as 9 to 5 entrepreneurship. Let me look a little bit further here. Because when it comes to this 9 to 5 perception here for some of you, the ship has sailed. That shit way over yonder. But your emotions are being stirred up here with working on your craft. With the Ace of Wands under that. You're literally being supported, but you are meant to conflict about this. This is coming through as a leap of faith. Being given the keys, the mysteries of life, having to make a decision on what brings you joy, which also has to do with collaborations, but these collaborations are also connected to the higher version of yourself. They don't come in when you're moving from, you know, the habits you've had in the past of people pleasing. You may feel as though you're not ready to step outside your comfort zone when it comes to working on your craft because of possibly situations you've been in where you've been taken advantage of. If you're someone who loves to give, just saw the 6 of Wands. Which showed up in the beginning. In regards to showing the world the real you by expressing yourself. Expression could be in so many different forms of art. Or what you decide to make time for. Ten 45, 10 9 19, 10 1. Wow. The High Priestess. This has already been revealed to you. 22. What is time for you to build on? Master builder number. But you cannot build this on sorrow, pains, and regrets of the past. 5 of Cups. Mars in Scorpio. This would be the type of energy of taking action from a space of protecting yourself so you don't get hurt again. Which is placing you in defense mode. Now, this could also have to do with messages that are being revealed to you from the spiritual realm or someone claiming to be spiritual that may have you juggling a bit. Let's see here. Well, there's that. 22215. Just gotta be mindful of 1047. That's 11 again. Of portals you're entering where the conversation is constantly about toxicity. Real shit. So you're not placing yourself in a position where you are moving forward, but now the energy has you questioning if you're still deceiving yourself when that's coming through more so as a test with Capricorn energy. For some of you, seriously, your next step is reflecting with your ancestors and your spirit guides so you know what's a yes and you know what's a no for you. Really getting firm and solid with that. So that way you're not all over the place. So that way you're able to trust when a message is for you and when it's not. Because with it's having me look at this, a personal issue reaches resolution and surrender to the divine. Full moon, and it's the full moon and full moon in Cancer card. A personal issue reaches resolution when you connect spiritually with your maternal line, the ancestors of your maternal line, or just your maternal line in general, ancestrally. This could even be your father's mother's side, or your mother's side and her mother. Surrender the situation to them so that way a personal issue can reach the resolution, because it has already reached the resolution. But it's time for you to be aware as to when your ancestors actually step in and when they're not. So you know when the message is for you and when it ain't. With the Seven of Swords here, which showed up in this section. Clarifying the Page of Cups in reverse. Where something can come across as sweet and gentle, but it has a trickster energy attached to it. And if you don't know yourself, it's easy for you to believe in anything that's being said. One more. Yeah. And then you have high honor and imprisonment that's showing up here. You're someone that is connected to ancestors that are spiritually highly ranked. But if you don't know them, it's real easy for things outside of you to make it seem as though that they have a connection to be able to deliver messages to you. Knight of Cups, Pisces. 12th house energy is what I'm picking up from that. Hidden enemies. Ah. So an evil spirit then. Which is an ancient entity. It knows the codes of Eden. So you got to be wise when you move about with these type of energies. Can be acting tough. You got to know what the fuck is you up against. Which is why it's important to connect and know the way your ancestors connect to, through, and with you. The Magician. Yeah. This is wild. Why is this coming up? That was quite the turn there. Well, it is a recalibration of mental grids. So that way you can sense the pulse that flows through you more directly, precisely. So you know when your body's telling you yes and when it's telling you fuck no. Literally, fuck no. What? Why is this coming up? Show me. 11th house. Coño. It's the final clearing before you reach the point where the cosmos grants wishes, opportunities, and social occasions. 11th house. Especially Aquarius in this energy right now. There's a lot of whispers and awakenings through your 12th house, where you're closing karmic loops across timelines. You're being guided to let go of what you intellectually understand and tune into what your dreams are showing you. You are the grid keeper for emerging truths. The grid keeper for emerging truths. That's why that shit would come up this way. The high priestess with the devil, that is, and the Knight of Cups, that should just give me a slight little hot flash for a bit right there. Where it makes you second guess, what the fuck you doing here for real? It's an ancient entity. It's beyond this world. Because what evil does, it doesn't create. Evil doesn't create. It only corrupts what's created. Evil corrupts what is created. And creation is connected to the feminine. So evil is designed to corrupt receptivity, nurturing, things of that nature. So one can be tricked in times in terms of the way that's coming across. As far as being nurtured and loved. Because again, that Page of Cups, which is a message from a gentle person, in reverse, not so gentle. They may appear as though they, they this and they that. But the truth of the matter is, they're part of the corrupt system. Now, take it to a higher dimension. They part of the program too. They part of this whole evolution. But you just have to be mindful as to the way you're maneuvering through this. What else? $10.56, $10.11. There's a portal that's open. You know what? Let me go to my demon cards. I'm telling you, y'all think this shit is a fucking game. Not y'all. I'm just rhetorically speaking. Birth of creation. This shit came out in reverse. You encounter such energies because of how powerful you are. Yes. And their role is to trigger you aligning your universe and navigating distractions. I was just about to say, you're the one. This is card 1. This card number 6 in reverse is a 9. There's a 9 here. There's 15, 2 and 2, which is 4, and the 5 here. But the 1 is you. The 1 is you. You're the messenger, the aligner of the other side. Okay, this just went there. We just went there with this shit. Okay. Show me this. Where's my King Solomon deck? Hold up. Let me pull up the occult tarot. Show me this. Don't get bad now. Talking to the entity. Hold on. I gotta pull up my little grid. Give me 1 second. Cause I'm gonna find out who the fuck this is. So we know what path to take here for ya. Let's see. Is it this one? What's this one? Let's see if it'll allow me to. No, I don't want to do it that way. Because if you don't know, every demon is controlled by an angel. Every lower or descended emotion is controlled by light or an angle of light that brings forth a message. Angel, angle. Is it this one? It's not murky. I have so many of them, but there's one specific I'm looking for. It doesn't take me this long to find it, so be patient here. Hmm. No. There we go. It's under that. Kabbalistic. Anyway. Okay. So now let's see. Which entity is this? Show me. Which entity is this? Wow. This shit is so precise. Went through the deck twice already. What is this? Show me. Don't hide now. Amdusias. Nine of Pentacles. Remember the 8 and the 2 that was there? Uh-huh. Number 67. Oh, this is a low one. This one's low. This is connected to an angel. Because it's different orders of angels. You got the seraphim, the cherubim, the thrones, dominions, powers, virtues, principalities, archangels, and then angels. And this one is connected to EIL. The angel that controls this demon is EIL. Amdusias. causes any manner of music to be played. What the fuck? So the information about what is cluttering your energetic field, the answers are coming through music, as we mentioned before. And this is how you can control or connect to the angle of light that controls it, EIN. Psalms 37 verse 4 specifically. And those born under the influence of this angel, EIN, will become illuminated by the Spirit of God. They will love solitude and be distinguished in the high sciences, principally astronomy, physics, and philosophy. EIL gives consolation in adversity and provides wisdom. EIL rules over change, the preservation of monuments, and long life. Also has the influence over occult sciences. Astrologically, this spirit signifies transformation. This is the moral guardian. This angel that controls this demon is the moral guardian for those born the 25th of May, August 5th, October 16th, December 27th, and March 9th. It is the physical guardian for those born between February 13th and the 17th, and the sole guardian of those born between 10 p.m. and 10:20 p.m. Now, the demon it controls, Amdusias, causes any manner of music to be played, causes trees to bend at will, brings excellent familiars. Now, here's the thing about demons that people are not aware of, that they're very fucking intelligent. Very intelligent. Okay? But look at this as an intelligence also as far as the 144. There's 72 of them and 72 angels. So you see, when you add that up, you get the frequency and vibration of 144. It's a vibration, not a number of people. Now, this is getting deep here. With the high priestess at the bottom here. Dantalion, number 71. So these are both controlled by angels. Teaches art, science, knows the secret thoughts of all and can change them. Causes love, shows vision of the world. Show the world the real you. I hold on. I got y'all. Let me just look at something else here before. Okay, am I on the page with this one? Yes, I am. It is the 67th. Amdusias is the 67th spirit of 72 demons summoned by King Solomon according to the Lesser Keys of Solomon. Great book, might I add. Definitely got that over there. Amdusias is a great and strong duke. Amdusias appears as the first type of unicorn, first appearance as a unicorn, but at request of the exorcist, he will stand before him in human shape, causing trumpets and all manner of musical instruments to be heard, but not soon or immediately. He can cause trees to bend and incline according to the exorcist will. He gives excellent familiars. He governs 29 legions of spirits. Astrologically, the spirit signifies making mistakes. Interesting. That's why the solitude is important. So you can hear when the frequency or tone is coming through to give you an answer. or a confirmation to what it is you're experiencing, especially when it comes to determining if something is for you or if it is not. However, the fact that it brings excellent familiars, it brings forth a test, yes, but it's also one that the energy carries a win-win outcome for all. Now, this is also where it's suggested to know who your guardians are specifically, as far as angels. Some of you could be connected to seraphim, a cherubim, throne, dominion, principalities, archangels, angels. And not knowing the angle of light that protects you. You know, not to say that it's required, but it's great to know. It's great. It's great to know. You know what I'm saying? So, your answers, clarity, are coming through music. Music is having you journey to a significant portal time frame in your journey of life where it can help you to determine what type of clutter you have around your energetic field so you can clear it at the root and not just doing surface-based type of work to, you know, clear out certain frequencies. So that would basically be an example of cutting cords and the shit's still there type of vibe. Get into the root of it. You want to talk about a clean slate? Oh yeah, one more. The Hangman, Knight of Pentacles and the Hangman. The Hangman is about surrender. Teaches natural and planetary sciences like corpse light above graves and moves bodies so the souls may be... What the fuck? This one's a little bit higher. 46. That one might be connected to a... maybe an archangel. Let me see. Yeah, whatever this is coming back to show you what you have shed from. But you have to respond, not react to it. 47. That shit is much higher. A virtue. That shit is above an archangel. Psalm 145 verse 9. And guess who? That's this one here. Is the entity that is messing with that their sacral chakra, because this is archangel. This is Ariel. We know Ariel is an archangel, but Ariel is a virtue. Which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in line out of the 9. With 1 being the strongest. Yeah. The revealing of God. It plays the role to reveal God within you. Ariel is the moral guardian of those born May 4th July 15th, September 25th, December 6th, and February 16th. It's the physical guardian for those born October 31st to November 4th. The one born under Ariel's influence will have a strong and subtle mind capable of new and sublime thoughts. They will be discreet and circumspect. Ariel can procure revelations. Will thank God for the greatness one sends. Discovers hidden treasures, reveals the greatest secrets of nature, and causes the object of one's desire to be seen in dreams. Astrologically, this spirit signifies perception and revelation. So, let's say you're not someone who studies demonology or angels, but you come across someone born between October 31st, November 4th, or May 4th, July 15th, September 25th, December 6th, February 16th. Their presence could be the activation where you can begin to see certain things that you are looking for in your dreams, an object to help you with some sort of, let's say if you're someone doing an investigation, these people with these date of births can literally activate that as they hold the portal of that energy. Grand evening, love. It says also the soul guardian for those born between 3 p.m. and 3:20. Now, yeah, telling you. When you begin diving deep into this type of stuff, and we're talking about an energy here that reveals hidden things in dreams. But if you're unaware of meeting someone in alignment with these dates of birth that are listed, you may not even see that which has shown up in your dream as a hidden treasure. You may just see it as oh, it's just a dream, and not take heed to the messages that are coming through. So I say that to say this. When the moment arrives and I open up for personal, this is why it's important to have a journal with take notes of certain things that are going on, through synchronicities and symbolism, because we can get to the bottom of stuff. The way I operate here in this realm, okay? There's some things we can get to the bottom of real quick, especially if you have signs of it. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy your life, because obviously that can turn someone into asking everybody, when's your birthday? When's your birthday? Because I need to figure this out before I go get this. Yo, not to worry though. Yeah, I'm gonna require my assistance once I put it all together the way I'm visualizing it, or it's being put together at this time. But yes, y'all will know when the moment arrives. Yeah. All right. So there's a situation that you have come across that reveals to you where the corruption began. That later has been disguised as carrying a burden that is not yours. As this is revealed to you, let's say some sort of corruption or some sort of secret is revealed to you in your dreams, and you're someone who is aware and has an understanding as to the way to maneuver in these states, in these mindsets, in these dream states. You can close out major cycles if you know what to do in these instances by, first and foremost, before you even go into the dream state, stretching, allowing yourself to be in a relaxed state, do some sort of meditation, put yourself into a relaxed state as much as possible. So that way, when you're in this other dimension, this other realm, when you're asleep here, you can navigate what to do and the way to move when you're in that realm. Especially in a situation where something of some sort of corruption is being revealed to you that has been hidden, that you've always been aware of. And what I mean by that is you've always been aware of it psychically, within your psyche. Let's say this has something to do with your bloodline, your family, things of that nature. You may not have experienced the corruption, but because you're around those who have experienced that, you'll receive the message, especially if you're the one that is basically carrying the mantle per se to release whatever has to be released. 23 just went to 24. I saw both of them switch. So that is in connection to the anything is possible with the blue moon, as it's a full moon that occurs in 1 month. So you're basically, what that just showed me, the fact that it went from 23-24 here and 11-24 there, I'm seeing it change on both clocks. There's a shift that you are the catalyst for on both sides, your mother's lineage and your father's lineage. Big heavy hitter energy here. What's the revelation here? Astral travel, caution needed, and the third eye. Whoa. Confirmation. Astral travel. Yeah. Okay. This is someone doing some serious clearing in their dreams. Certainly someone with the gift of sight is getting stronger. But what you're doing in your dreams is you are helping other people heal. Some of you are having dreams here where you are experiencing a scenario that someone in your family has gone through. It's playing out through you. And the fact that it's playing out through you, there's a way that you move that places you in that circumstance when it happened in this physical realm, that you're able to move the puzzle pieces where now the person in this awakened state may call you and say that they're ready to do something that you felt as though you'll never see the light of day when they decide to make this type of shift. It's that intense or that deep of a revelation that happens. For some of you, specifically a female or your mother's side with Ariel in connection to the sacral chakra. Will you take the precaution needed for this astral travel to attain the fragmented pieces that allows one to reclaim their mind? With the third eye vision. Yo, got my body over here doing a whole bunch of shit. A whole Tibetan sound bowl notification says sleep as a baby. Anything else? Yeah, you said it. You setting something free, all right. Spiritual evolution. I'm telling you. So y'all going up in, because this message is gonna come across with a person that is experiencing this, and may it reach them. May it reach them, because this is certainly something they only speak to themselves about. And it's just serving as a confirmation, because this is a lot of seer type of frequency. Because you see what I was saying about being in the state of seeing what's happening. It's playing out through you, but you're also observing it. So, okay. Because if we're speaking to someone, let's say, in a scenario, someone who transitions in their sleep. Yeah, we're going there. Someone who transitions in their sleep. And they go into these different dimensions. And within the energy itself, a decision is made, or an energetic shift is made where the energy decides to stay in this other dimension rather than come back into this one. But the way this here is playing out, because of how strong this type of shift is, the part of you that is aware of being in this realm knows what to do to pull you out before you get too comfortable in this other state. Okay. Someone has a very strong gift. I'm going to just say that. You may even have the ability of remote viewing in this type of instance as well. Yeah, because it's the physical guardian, Ariel, of those in connection to Scorpio season. That's the Five of Cups energy. It was around there somewhere. Wow. The disruption. Symphony came out in reverse. And it landed right on top of this birth of creation that's in reverse too. What's this? 3 of Taurus. Okay. And astral travel is number 3. Caution needed. Okay. Emerald. Healing, fertility. So, whatever this heaviness that's coming to the surface that one has been carrying, it started from the womb state, from the time you were conceived. Especially for someone, you know, who never really experienced that type of level of traumatic experience once they entered this world, where it's, they may listen to messages and feel as though, you know, the physical life that they have experienced and that they recall to an extent may not serve as to why they move a certain way, but they know that there's an energy there that is unseen. And that can happen once once a child is conceived and they pick up all the trauma from the mother within the first, the first trimester. That's the thing about this Pluto and Aquarius energy, where the rate of births is not going to be as high as it usually is, because these seeds, these souls coming in, don't want to be in a womb that they are aware of that's experiencing trauma, the way we have chosen to come into spaces to you know what I'm saying, to cleanse out the trauma. Bonfire, enthusiasm, energy, heated, intense, sharing ideas, getting things going. All is well. This is nothing to be, look at that. Literally, Pluto and Scorpio gang. We really chose to come out here on some fuckery. Came out here to destroy some shit, so what has to be rebuilt can be. So now the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, y'all can step into your high priest, high priestess energy. But we gotta come out of this labyrinth. Oh shit. Spiritual quest. Problem to solve, catch 22. It's a long way home. The situation is sort out. Yeah, definitely just explained something that was quite complex. I mean, it didn't seem that way, but okay. So that level of message that was just delivered was hard for someone to say to somebody and express it that way. Not the same exact way, but just being able to express what they are experiencing as far as discovering hidden things and what's being revealed to them in their dreams and the way it's playing out in their physical reality. The Castle. Is this? Yeah, the Old Guard 2 is out. And this is that kind of vibe. It is. Look at this shit. The Old Guard, that movie. We was channeling this frequency big time when this came out. The Old Guard. I just saw that part 2 was out. So those are a few things that you could use to assist you with your channeling and discovering more about yourself. Sandman, Lucifer, the Old Guard, discovery of witches, especially if you're someone who is a cosmic weaver. Discovery of witches is going to have you saying, well, finally. they make it make sense. As far as what you are aware of when it comes to who you are, what your mission is, and you not out here complaining about why people doing this and why people doing that. They attacking me and ain't doing that. Honestly, if you are someone who feels as though you are being spiritually attacked, let me tell you something. Go get you some help. And I mean mental health help. That's nothing to play with. When you recognize what you're saying, you have to allow that for that to happen. But this is what I mean when, you know, people go into spaces and be busybodies. This ain't the space for that. Respectfully, it's not. This is a space when you put all this pointing the finger outside and you come here for the, you know what I'm saying, the blueprint or any missing puzzle pieces to go on about your journey and do what you came here to do. For real, for real. The answers you need are coming. There's no lack in the answers that are coming, but let's see the way this is being clarified. I didn't get one of these for that. So let's do that here. The answers are coming regarding duality, two sides of something. Don't choose a side, choose frequency. That's the answer. Privileged lady. Yeah. That's also connected to the channeled message I received from Gaia, Solaria, Terra, Kai, whichever name you want to give Earth, which I'll redo in terms of posting it for you all when we redo it. But the privileged lady showing up here for the answers you're looking for. They have already arrived. It's just a matter of you receiving with the privileged lady feminine frequency. And you're not going to be able to receive it because it's so subtle with the impoverished mindset. Toil and labor. 38, Neptune. Father is the sea. Your sun sign holds the keys of the answers. Your sun sign. As it heightens your awareness of your destiny. And when you have a heightened sense of awareness when it comes to your destiny, this is where you change your fate. Okay? Transmute guilt into grounded presence. Speak only what carries soul resonance. Walk with ancient softness and futuristic strength. Let the reversal be your remembrance. That's speaking to the current of the southern waters going reverse. Look at that as the root chakra of the planet. Which is where that channeled message that you all see here soon. because it speaks to the choice that all are making. It's not about choosing sides. There's been a lot of working on humanity to continue the perception of choosing a side, good or bad, right or wrong, awakened or not. But what you really came here to do was to choose a frequency. That's going through the vertical axis. Making the choice of alignment, the choice of sacred perception. Not all this other shit that keeps you below the heart. The moment has come, gods and goddesses. We have arrived. Your higher self is not even taking, it's not taking no shit from you at this point with this Queen of Swords showing up, especially when it comes to, you know, a significant one-on-one partnership that you know great and well. It was just part of the process before you begin this new beginning. And here we go again with this unexpected income energy that I was showing y'all before. When we said this 8 energy is coming through. Some of you are truly being guided to fast so you can make wise, conscientious decisions about this partnership. This could even be fasting from whatever it is that keeps you connected, especially if it's an external substance, if it's trees, if it's alcohol, sex, all of that. So you can heal and step into purpose, which is about holding up the grid for truth consciousness and nothing less. Your higher self is literally asking you, does this relationship actually reflect healing? Does it reflect the healed version of you? Any relationship or partnership that you're in, does it reflect the healed version of you? Does it reflect, you know, the evolution you've had thus far? Because if not, this is what you're being asked to surrender, the Hangman. And to be more aware of when your ancestors are guiding you, not other people. You have to have a strong and solid connection to know when a yes is a yes and a no is a no, which ancestors to work with. Because for some of you, the healing that you're doing is the healing that is occurring for the one that you feel that you are connected to, but they're still moving through this 3D way of existing instead of evolving. So this is why it's important to reflect with yourself and where the natal charts come in, where your human design comes into play, your galactic signature comes into play, because now you get the story or the blueprint of you. And it should influence, you know, questions and answers that you have about those before you. But you would have to place yourself in the position of not pointing the finger to receive the answer, especially if you are connecting with energies that are transitioned or in other realms. Okay. Anyway, Page of Wands. I love this because as far as the answers are coming, this is also a message about great news that's coming in. So all is well. Just step into your power, connect to your inner authority quickly, expeditiously, as there's also a shift in the way you think, in the way you process information as well. Okay. One more, let me see. I know I said one more already, but I want to see what the message is. What's this coming in? What's this great news? This Page of Wands is a message of great news. It can be from a younger fire sign as well. There's someone who is radiant and vibrant. 21 lucid moments could be significant. 3 cycles, what you call weeks, 3 weeks. 3 cycles. Ooh, a massive opportunity. Wow. That's going to actually help you financially. Having to do with an investment on yourself and building a legacy. And then we have the Lovers. That's the Gemini. Full moon in Gemini. Full moon in Gemini, that occurs during Sagittarius season. So Sagittarius season could be significant. 5 months. Four to 5 months. Towards a little bit towards closer to the winter solstice with this Capricorn energy, 12/21. The Angels and Ancestors card is the Wolf card that says take care of your needs. Take care of your perception of what it is that you feel as though you're lacking. And use your emotions wisely. Because it's time for you to lead the pack. Okay? The heart of it. Rest and rejuvenation. Information being revealed to you about a past version of yourself that is connected to your strength with the 6 of Cups here. Now the moon in Scorpio, moon in Sag, and moon in Capricorn could also be significant in regards to this change, this great news coming in. Yes, this full moon in Capricorn also. Especially once you release what it is that isn't yours and you stop carrying it, especially when it comes to generational lessons. More Gemini energy, Libra, Gemini. Some of you are carrying something for a sibling. You need to let that go. Just put it this way, whatever it is you're carrying or whatever it is you're attempting to do for a loved one, and they don't make the decision within themselves to make the change, just know because what you have to offering the gift that you feel as though can assist them can actually be detrimental to them. What's healing for you can be poison for them. And just allow them to shift. And again, the way that dream message came through, if there's something you do take part in where you make some sort of adjustments, it's because there has been some sort of telepathic communication between you and them that it occurs in the dream. Where now it's as if you have a conversation with them in the dream state. And before you wake up out of the dream state, let's say they were going to apologize. And as soon as you rise up, you get a call from them and they're apologizing. Basically on some lucid dreaming type shit. But yeah. We'll see where this goes because I feel as though energetically we'll be here on the live mañana. If not, I'll see y'all on the next live. Have a blissful evening. Okay? Know that all is well. And the moment has arrived for you to rebuild structures from thriving, soul integrity, emotional sovereignty. There's no burden you have to carry unless you decide to. And this full moon is about you no longer carrying burdens that are not yours. So I'll see you next time.